if you would like to know more details, you can join our WhatsApp group. I will share the links with you now. Give me a second. Here's the first link. This is the first link of the WhatsApp group. This is the other one. So you can join our WhatsApp group to know more details about the coming CELTA rounds. We also offer various courses like Delta, CELTA, and their preparation courses like TKT and general webinars in professional development events. Okay, now I would like to introduce our presenter, Ms. Heidi Fernandez, and her webinar about teaching language skills using Moodle. Ms. Heidi Fernandez was born in La Vega, Dominican Republic on October 5th, 1986. She's an English professor and general coordinator at Constanza campus, Universidad Católica del Cibao. She's an ex-director of Registries Department, Universidad Católica del Cibao. Her translation company founder. She has PhD in Educational Sciences from Universidad Católica Nordestana. She's a current doctoral student. She has master's degree in teaching English as a foreign language from Universidad Dominico-Americana. She has master's degree in educational management from Universidad Ibero-Americana. She has also a bachelor degree in modern languages, major in English from Universidad Autónoma de Santo Domingo. The floor is yours now, Ms. Heidi. You can start your session, please.
Okay, good morning for everyone.
Good morning.
Hola,
Good morning.
¿qué tal?
We're happy to have you here.
Oh, nice. You speak Spanish. Nice.
Sí, claro que sí, yo hablo español.
Qué
Vámonos a
bien.
aprender.
Muy bien. Muy bien. Para mí es un placer estar con ustedes. For me it's a pleasure being with you this morning. Today I'm going to share with you some important, let's say, highlights about our research that I'm conducting. It's like some advanced. We are in the process of this research related to teaching language skills using Moodle. We are going to focus on that part. So every day it becomes a need to investigate how digital tools can contribute to the development of linguistic competencies and the fundamentals English skills of English in that case. So prior to COVID-19, it's not a secret for us as a teacher. For example, in the case of Dominican Republic, we tend to teach into a different context. It means face-to-face classes when you attend to the classroom, right? And sometimes we tend to use Moodle or any kind of platform as an optional resource, as an optional way of teaching, not as the main way of teaching. When in Dominican Republic, this person of face-to-face class stopped because of the pandemic, we need to face a lot of challenge in this field. Related to this, is not only for our countries, related to the many authors have written, for example, that this period of transition to a totally virtual modality was presents certain difficulties. In certain points, in the case of Mendoza and Navas, they point out that English teachers were not prepared for virtual teaching, especially because in that moment we tend to use the platform, but as additional resource, not to move everything, every face-to-face class. For example, here in our university, we tend to go to the university to get together with our students, and we use the platform only for allowed materials, right, to do certain homework. Some referential framework regarding to this topic. One of those was Eli, that suggests that management of educational technology requires training and, let's say, a positive attitude, right, to its efficient use. And that we face at that moment. Those teachers that were well-trained and have a positive attitude could manage this situation, let's say, faster or better than the other part that maybe didn't have enough training in that field. Other authors like Marcelo and they talk about this topic also. They talk about the importance of use ICT, especially for teaching English, and also emphasize the role of these tools for the development of linguistic skills, especially speaking and listening. And something that I can say that when we get involved with teaching and this research, they tend to have different opinions. Some of them says that they have more difficulties in listening and speaking, especially for the matters of the issues of connection. That moment, not all students were able to connect in a properly internet, and those things causes certain trouble. Other important things that when this COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of changes we can observe. Most people or most universities or educational institutions around the world tend to use more the platforms, not only Moodle, all other platforms. Then they include, for example, in our case, we include Teams, and sometimes also we incorporate Zoom for this interaction. Other author, in the case of, and of course, this represents a challenge for higher education in our country, was a big challenge to face this situation. Then other research point out that, for example, here in Dominican Republic, in this that moment, Escalante and others author applied a kind of research, kind of survey, asked some questions on students about the perception they had about the use of Moodle. Unfortunately, the perception in general was positive, but they emphasized that they have certain difficulties in certain moments to get accustomed to use these kind of tools. So the methodology we use in that case was literature review about the literature, in that case, on some articles related to the topic. But we are emphasizing not only the use of Moodle, but also that they consider the development of 4 English skills, the 4 fundamental English skills. But there are a lot of literature related to maybe the benefits of Moodle in general. But in that case, we emphasize especially teaching English, teaching the 4 skills. So also we applied a kind of semi-structured interview to the English teacher, especially those teachers that become part or were part of this transition to the face-to-face class or in-person class, to that virtuality. We asked many questions related to the different challenge they need to face at that moment, and also about their how they feel, the motivation, how was this migration to the platform from the totally face-to-face or in-person classes to a virtual class. They have different opinions. Some of them were prepared at the moment of this migration. Other was in the process. The university provide a lot of training resources, but it's something different from some of them, especially some of them are not used to deal with those tools, because as I told you before, it was optional for teachers use the platform. Let's see, some results in this first stage, let's say, of that research, is that the study that we observe in most of the cases refer to a positive relationship between the use of technological tools and the result of the teaching learning process. But it's not a secret. Some of the teachers says that they have certain difficulties, not at the moment of teaching or the whole teaching process, but at the moment of the evaluation. Sometimes were harder for them, the evaluation of the four skills. Sometimes they emphasize more in the reading and writing, but sometimes forget about their listening and speaking. The idea is to make a balance between the different skills. Something important that we emphasize here is that teacher training is mandatory in all of educational institution. You need to provide your teachers enough training to manage the different tools, especially the platform or the different resource that you can find online or you can provide to the students. Also, in some study, they emphasize the need for teachers to innovate in their teaching strategy. For sometimes they bring everything that they tend to do in person classes, but it's not the same when you move to a platform, a virtual class. That's important. But also they need to combine virtual platform, some tools that are systematic and should be contextualized in matter of planning. Something important here that it says, we observe that they consider that it's important to consider at the moment of this transition, or when you are teaching through the platform, the development of the 4 skills, the 4 abilities in English. As I told you before, they emphasize in some of them, but they don't pay attention maybe to others, or they prefer, or they feel comfortable maybe teaching writing or reading, but sometimes they left behind the oral skills or the listening skills. And that is important. It's something important to consider the method they are going to use to teach. Remember that in English we have different methods. From all long time ago, we need to combine of all those methods, pay attention to the different strategy at the moment of teaching, even though we are teaching through a platform, not in face-to-face classes. Also, we found that in those studies, they pay attention to some typical strategies for that comes from general didactics, but maybe they are not focusing in teaching English, in that case, as a foreign language, in our case. And that's important that we need to incorporate those methods, especially when we are teaching a foreign language. Also, we can conclude that when we observe certain gadgets related to the method that maybe they don't use, that they forget about some other, where there are 4 skills, but maybe I emphasize 2 of them, or maybe I teach all of them, but at the moment of evaluate, I have certain trouble. We need to consider to pay attention to this method, the influence on the integration of the use of ICT, and also the use of Moodle in teaching of the English language. There are many platforms. In our case, in our university, we tend to use Moodle. Our experience was on Moodle, and also Teams, we tend to use that. Something important here is that use Moodle as educational platform for teaching English is very important. We need to study, in that case, if when we are talking about Moodle or as a platform that we tend to use, the capabilities of this platform are the most suitable for teaching the four fundamental skills, because some of the teachers at the moment of this migration present certain difficulties. Of course, you can work with the four skills, but some teachers presented certain difficulties of combining all of them. So it's important to take into consideration the training, video dated. For example, we did kind of webinars with a lot of courses in order to reinforce all the time these abilities, because we are not native in that technology. In our case, we didn't manage at all at the beginning these tools, but the idea is that we need to work hard in order to be an expert in that part. Of course, it's important to emphasize that Moodle have a lot of benefits. In our case, for example, when we are talking about social learning, we promote the interaction. We can promote some forum that our students can interact. Also, it's adaptive learning. You can adapt and also to incorporate other things. They promote micro learning. The feedback is very important because through this platform, you have the opportunity to provide to your students feedback. It's an easy access. And others that you can combine, for example, in the matter of develop the four skills, the students can produce video and upload. Of course, there's a minimum short period of time. That is maybe not a good advantage, but in my class, they connect the links to the videos they create. Also, you can provide some listening exercise and all those kind of things using Moodle. So for me, it was a pleasure sharing with you this advance of this research that we are conducted. We are not finished. We haven't finished yet. We are in the process, and we are introducing certain changes. We are taking into account different elements that in the way we have this approach with the teachers, other informations, other details are provided. So thank you for your attention. That was my presentation about this topic.
Thank you, Ms. Haiti. Thank you so much. Now, after listening to Ms. Haiti, let's take some time for your questions. Would you like to ask Ms. Haiti about anything?
No, I do have a point that I would like to know about though. If we start teaching with a model, but at some point we had to, get out of the topic a little bit, like using different methods in different ways, how would that affect different stages of teaching? For example, if I was teaching a specific plan that I have to apply for kindergarten, but the same plan I have to teach for people in high school, but also the same plan I have to teach it for people in university. So how would that really affect the method? Like, is it going to be as effective as it is, or is it going to be like not really balancing by the end of the day?
So we have certain interruption. Your question is? Sorry.
No problem. My question was if we use the same model to be teaching for different types of ages, like teaching levels such as kindergarten, intermediate school, high school, university, is it going to be as the same as effective? If not, do we like have to, is it okay if we added some things? That's what I'm trying to